I'm turning 40 years old. The alarm clock is going off. If I'm going to start a business, the time is now. I'm Jim Freal. I'm founder of Freal Foods, and we're based out in San Francisco. Freal Foods makes milkshakes, smoothies, and frozen cappuccino drinks. You just walk up, grab a cup out of a freezer, put it in our blender, hit a button, it goes up inside the blender, blends itself up right in the cup, comes down. Perfect milkshake, just the way you wanted it. People love them. Technology has been a big part of the success of Freal. Every single one of our blenders is sort of a cell phone. It actually has a way to connect through the cell system back to our headquarters so that we can monitor equipment and make sure that it's running properly. We're spread across the entire United States and Canada. We're fairly virtual, and so we use technology to be in communication all the time. I was an engineer at Cornell. I always wanted to just figure out better ways to do things. I just love that. That's kind of what turns me on. After business school, I got into management consulting. I later moved on to Dreyer's ice cream, and that's in fact where I started thinking about milkshakes. I was in this position that made good money, everything seemed great. But at the same time, I was just about to turn 40, and I was starting to think, okay, if you're gonna be an entrepreneur and do your thing, like, when is that gonna happen? I could see that this quest to make a better milkshake was in fact gonna turn into my chance to escape my cube. So I had to come up with my escape plan. First thing was to tighten up this milkshake concept. How are we gonna make these things easily? I knew it would involve a piece of equipment, so that was gonna be the second step. And last of all, how do you get it to the market? One night, 3 in the morning actually, I woke up out of a deep sleep with the key piece of the puzzle that pulled the entire thing together. I got up, I actually went for a long jog doing my Rocky run. So now it became time to focus on this blender or this machine. So I worked with an eccentric engineer guy. At night we'd go down into his shop and build whatever we'd come up with that day. And we just went back and forth day after day and then tested it and made sure it worked. Finally we had one prototype that would actually blend up a great milkshake in under a minute. We originally thought that we would be going after the fast food chains. We had what's classically called a pivot. We changed direction. We showed our product at a convenience store show. One guy in particular who had a chain of over 500 stores walks up to our booth and says, hey, if you can make that blender just a little different, I'll put it in every single one of my stores. And what you really ought to do is just put a curtain over your booth and stop showing this to everybody else. And that became the basis of our success. Now we have them in 15,000 stores. It took 8 years before I had my first really solid contract with a convenience store chain. What I really learned about myself is you need to persist and that I just don't quit. Take that first step to jump in, not really knowing exactly how it's going to play out, and figure it out as you go. Escape the cube.